Welcome to Afrik Express. Today we are going to Uganda. We have with us Dr. John Lukyamuzi, who is an inspirational and motivational speaker. He just moved to Boston from Seattle, Washington, and he's here to help us overcome obstacles and turn those obstacles into stepping stones. Mr. Lukyamuzi is a result-oriented leader. Dr. John Lukyamuzi, you are welcome to Afrik Express.
Thank you for having me today on your show.
You are an inspirational speaker.
Yes.
How long have you been doing this?
I have been doing this for at least for the last 15 years. I've been doing this for the last 15 years, very much all over the world. I've been to places like Israel, Jordan, South Korea, Japan, South Africa, and very much on the continent. And God has been good opening doors, and it's something I enjoy to talk, to encourage people. When people are down, I hate to see when I'm down personally, I don't want somebody to come and beat on me. I want somebody who can reach out and give me a hand. And so that's the point of view where I come from, is to encourage, is to modify or edify, and say, yes, you can do it.
I see. And today you will be talking about relationships and how to deal with your mate, or how to communicate with your mate.
That's part of it. It is an art, the art of understanding your mate. You have to be skillful, because first of all, when you start talking about dealing with different sexes, because we are from different background, different planets, if you want to use the term, we are created different. At the same time, we need each other. We need to get along. So if you have a mate, you have to take a time to understand her if you're going to be able to get along. You know it. I know it. It's a challenge today.
So you say it is an art. So something that you have to basically learn.
Correct.
Because people are different.
Correct.
It's not always honeymoon.
Correct.
We don't get into relationship and thinking, okay, everything is going to be fine, and let one person do something. You have to take the time to study each other. That's what you mean by art, or
that's what basically I'm talking about, because you use the term art. You have to be skillful. Because sometimes most of us have, before we get into a relationship, we have some what I would call preconceived ideas.
Right.
Or you get into marriage and you think when you're in honeymoon, the rest of your life is going to be in a honeymoon. Guess what? It turns out not to be a honeymoon. So you start making statements, I wonder why even in the first place I should be with you. So there are some of these issues, and me as a coach, where I can step in and coach or counsel and encourage and say, look, regardless of any problem, there is always a way out if both of you are willing, and that's where I step in.
Yeah, but isn't it true that most times when people are dating, you really don't know that person? People tend to cover their real self. You don't really find out who the person is until either you start cohabitating with the person, or until when you're married. So,
well, that's why people like us who have experience, we can step in and coach. For example, I always recommend, before you get married, I recommend at least get to know that person for a minimum of a year. Because if you get along, if you meet that person for a period of 1 year, sooner or later you're going to find out. Sooner or later the true colors are going to begin to show. And I will tell you what to look for. And that would be able to help you, at least to give you an idea. Because somebody can hide so long. But if you have the art, you can ask particular questions, and eventually you will be able to find out what type of that person is. Before you make that life commitment, before you say, I do.
Isn't it possible that also that not just learning, studying the person, that it is also good to commit the relationship to prayer, because you could end up choosing the wrong partner?
Well, it curtails a lot of things, because it's not a one thing. It is one thing here, a little here, line upon line, precept upon precept. So it becomes to be a package. It's like, for example, in a business. If you want to be successful in business, you better be good at marketing. You better be good at management. You better be good at financing. The same thing with this one. It's not a one thing.
Right.
So this is, if I had time, I would like to share, for example, with you about 10 things women need to know about men, because that will help them to understand the men instead of demanding, because the demanding is not going to do it.
Okay, so why don't we start? What are the things that a woman needs to know about a man before she gets involved?
Very good. First of all, number one, I really believe this is very, very important. Somebody has to learn the real meaning of love. What is the real meaning? What is love? Is it about getting excited? Is it about getting emotional? Is it about having sex? What is love? You have to put on that responsibility to find out what is true love.
What is true love?
True love, it has to have basically about 5 things, okay? First of all, it curtails about 3. You as a female or as a lady, a man, that number 2, but also I believe in God. Because this, it becomes almost impossible when you are 2 of you. But when you believe in God, now you can have an assistance. Now you can apply His love into your relationship. And of course, God is the source of love. Actually, God Himself is love.